Good morning, all of you, and I hope you're well on this rather wet and windy morning. I must say, I was just driving back over. I teach just before this class, and I was just driving back over from Stoke Rivers. And you know, when you just suddenly stop and you just see the clouds, and then you look at the trees, you think, oh my goodness, there are no leaves on many of them, and winter is coming. It suddenly struck me a bit like a thunderbolt. The whole hanging on to summer, but there we are. It's rather beautiful, I must say, light. Anyway, here we are. We are today starting a series of classes that is working with our elements, really working up each of the chakras along the spine. So whatever your take on all of that kind of esoteric stuff is, just feeling really, due to say at different parts of the body, there's different energy kind of flows within it, and there's a different sensation. If you think about your pelvis, it's a big, dense, bony structure, a big bowl of a structure within the body. It's dense, it's heavy. It kind of gives our body, how to say, shape and support, really, to be able to lift the spine and be able to draw up from the legs. So we're starting here today working with the element of earth. So just a few moments to sit. Hands can be on the lap. You can connect your thumbs together, else you can bring them to the knees into one of the mudras, however you feel to. Just let your eyes shut for a few moments. Now with your eyes shut, connect to your breath. And feel the contact of your body with the earth. Note how the body's weight settles on its surface. And sitting here in stillness, the body can come to rest. And as you feel that contact, physical contact of earth with body, so too the mind settles, feels that contact to earth. So following your breath down to whatever part of the body is in contact with the earth. And in doing so, you're following the flow of energy within you, down to earth. Almost like you're plugging yourself to the earth, into the earth, grounding yourself. And turning awareness to earth. That's a constant in our lives, holding us on its surface. What does earth mean to you? Whether it's a sense of groundedness, perseverance, calmness. Rootedness. What earth quality do you like to welcome into your life? And as you sit on its surface, part of the earth, trusting that you will be led, guided to the source of this within the mind. Stretching out your fingers now, and with your eyes still shut, very slowly take your fingertips down to the earth in front of you. And breathing out. Feel your roots. And with open eyes again. And bringing hands to the knees, I'd like you to now take the body over to the right hand leg. So it doesn't matter how you're sitting, whether you're on a chair here, whether you're still cross-legged, whether you want to stretch your legs out in front. We're just easing the body over to the right hand side. And then, after a breath or so there, you're going to find your way over to the left hand side. Now come over to the right hand side again. Just notice you do so. There may be a slight lifting through your left hip, the left side of the pelvis. So you want to anchor that down as much as your right side of the pelvis is anchored down. And then a semicircle round the body over to the left. Take that semicircle back over. And now moving with your breath from side to side. And then we'll take that semicircle around and into a full circle. You can make this as fast or as slow as you want to. But as you move, see if you can keep your awareness of the pelvis and how it's connected to the floor. And holding your attention steady on doing so. Now take your circle round the opposite way. And if your attention has slightly moved out into your arms and what they're doing, Bring it back again to both hip bones and the trunk of the body, easing over one leg, finding its way over to the other. And we'll arrive back to the center line, hands on both knees, eyes shutting. And as you breathe in, from the base of the spine, start to very lightly feel the base of the spine draw up into the mid-spine, the upper spine, up into the neck and the crown. Now tipping your chin in towards the throat, just a fraction. So you feel a little bit more lift up through the crown of the head. And now, as if you were washing out the inside of the body with the breath, breathe in and fully fill the space within your body. And breathing out, empty that space. Let the energy within your breath return back to earth. Feel your energy lifting up from the earth, returning back to the earth with your breath. And whatever earth means to you, whatever you would like to welcome in your life, of the earth. Feeling that connection to this. As you sit, part of it. And eyes opening again. We're going to start the physical practice coming around and onto all fours this morning. So taking a few moments to come onto your all fours with a neutral spine, feet hips width apart, feet pointing out behind you, and just starting with a few cats, easing up into the pelvis, the head, dropping downwards between shoulders, and feeling that action through the belly. So use your belly to support your spine and the back of the body. As you breathe in, draw the belly up towards your spine. Likewise, as you breathe out. And then curving your sit bones up to the ceiling so your spine will lengthen and you'll lift up between your shoulders. And you're going to take a few rounds of breath here. Again, accentuating the contact between the base of the spine and your belly as you breathe. And that will help you to engage with your abdomen and an abdominal breath. And to use your lungs to their fullest capacity. So we're going to move from one to the other now. So breathing out, you're curving up. And breathing in, you're easing the spine through between shoulders. So work with your own breath here, whatever pace you feel to this morning. Whatever pace makes sense to you to cultivate more wellness, well-being. Just noting if you do feel any resistance through muscles, through mind, that certain lethargy of movement. And just breathe a little bit more fully into that. Let your energy shift a little bit, taking new shape and form. And we'll take another 3 or so rounds more. And then pausing on all fours with a neutral spine. Once you find that neutral spine, we'll lift the right leg out behind us. Toes are pointed here. Now, as you do so, there's a natural tipping up through that right hip. So I'd like you to see if you can level it so you're drawing it down, lifting up through the left hip, anchoring both hands to really fully feel grounded, supported in this 3-legged balance. A couple more deep rounds of breath. Right foot coming down, plant it down, lift up your left arm, stretch it out in front of you, thumb facing up. Now again, there's a lot going on here. You're working every single muscle through the body more or less to keep the pelvis level, to keep the breath flowing, to keep that lift through the arm and feel stable. Another breath, left hand down. Doing the same on the left hand side, lift up your left leg. Again, you will need to adjust the pelvis to drop that left hip down whilst keeping the left leg lifted. Now, gravity is working quite strongly here on the body. It feels heavy. It feels a bit of an effort to keep it lifted. So as you root down into your hands, your feet, you're lifting up and away from gravity. Next round, and your left foot can come back down, and this time your right arm will float up. Stretch it in front of you, feel that balance through pelvis, into the hand, left hand. And right hand coming down. Breathe out, take your pelvis back to the heels. Find a comfortable position here, coming back towards heels. Forehead is coming down. A couple of breaths or so to breathe your way along the spine. And then lifting up onto all fours, breathing in. You may want to slide your hands forward here a little bit to give you a bit more space. You're taking the spine forward until it's more or less straight. So kind of diagonal through the spine. Your arms will probably have to come forward. So your hands are underneath your shoulders. Weight of the body on the hands. Breathe out, slide back to the heels. Hands will probably have to slide in to meet you. Breathe in, slide the hands forward and come forward. Just go as far forward as you feel to. Breathing out, sliding back. Breathing in, sliding forwards. Doing a couple more. Keep your breath flowing, the final one. And arriving back onto all fours. So you're in a neutral spine here. Just make sure hands are underneath the shoulders. Breathing in, right leg will lift out behind you. The left arm will float up. Just pause there. 2-point balance now. both coming down. Onto the other side, left leg, right arm. Coming down, moving from side to side, breathing in, lifting, breathing out, down, breathing in, lifting, and breathing out, coming back down. A few more rounds. Do take a breather at any point that you'd like to. Let's do a couple more. And we'll do one more round, both sides. And hands coming down, tuck under your toes. Now toes tucking under, walk your way back with your hands. Very good. Now do use a block here. This is where it might be useful, just so you can put a bit of body weight down on the block. You can even use the floor here, just to kind of soften the sensation through the heels. If you want to go there, hands up to the knees, shoulders lifting. And as much as you're rooting down into the feet, you're lifting up through the spine. Going to take 4 more rounds of breath in. And into the final round. So hands coming forward from here, and we're going to arrive up and into down dog. Your feet are now awake for that down dog, so easing up and back, a bit of bend through the knees. See if you can frame your ears with your forearms here. As you draw your sit bones up and back, breathing in, we lift up the heels, and breathing out, we're drawing the heels down. Another in-breath, heels rising, breathing out, heels releasing. A few more. And with your next in-breath, the heels lifting. Now bring the spine forward a bit so your weight is kind of more or less on top of the hands. And then from there, breathe in, look forward. And breathing out, feet coming up to the top of the mat. And you're into forward fold. Now hands to the backs of the knees, and your feet can be hips width apart here if you prefer. Breathing in, we'll slide the hands up to around the knees so you can lengthen out through the spine. Draw the shoulders back, look forward. Breathing out, folding down the legs. Breathing in, straightening up through the legs, look forward. Breathing out, a bit of bend through the knees as you come into your forward fold. Couple more. Now, awareness on the contact of your hands, the next breath or so, as they slide up and down the legs. And this time, we'll slide the hands up the backs of the legs, up the back of the thighs, and you're arriving up into standing. Hands on the hips, taking the pelvis in a circle around in one direction. And feeling your feet as you move. Take the pelvis the opposite way. And arriving back into standing again. Hands coming down to the sides of the arms. Hands coming down to the sides of the legs. Now, in breath, the arms will float up above the head. Out breath, you're taking them back down. Now, we're going to involve the feet here, so going as much as you want to here. In breath, the heels will lift up. And out breath, the heels are coming down. And we're doing a few rounds of this now, moving with the breath. In breath, arms and heels lift. Out breath, drawing them back down. Keep going. Couple more. And a couple more. And then arriving down, feet to the floor, arms either sides of the body, and your eyes shutting. And letting your feet connect with the earth beneath you. Eyes opening, breathing in, the arms will float up above the head. Interlace your fingers there, look up towards the palms, lift up. And breathing out, releasing the palms and arriving into a forward fold. So hands coming to the base of the ankles, you can slide the hands up to offer the spine forward. Breathing in, else you can bring your fingertips down. And palms arriving to the mat, and we'll step back into down dog. Now arriving in down dog, you're going to come down onto the floor into cobra, so either dropping the knees down and then lowering down the body, or else coming forwards and into plank. And breathing out, lowering the body down to the floor. And on the floor, feet out behind you, in breath, into cobra. Tuck the toes under, lift the knees, start to push back into down dog. Else you can come up onto all fours that way, just to soften it a little bit. And we're all in down dog. Give yourself another breath here. And then in breath, starting to draw the pelvis forward, and breathing out, we'll step the feet up to the top of the mat. In breath, offer your spine forward. Out breath, folding. And coming up to rise, arms up above the head, and out breath back into heart. Into another round. In breath, palms floating up. And out breath, arriving down and into forward fold. Come up onto fingertips or hands up the legs, offer the spine. Out breath, coming back into down dog. And from there, finding your way down to the floor. So either knees down or plank, lowering down. In breath into cobra. And toes under, pushing, easing back into down dog. Next round of breath, start to draw the pelvis up and forwards. And with your out breath, feet come into the top of the mat. Offer the spine, breathe in. Out breath, folding. And coming up to rise, breathing in. And out breath, palms back to the heart. Another in breath, take the palms up above the head. Bring the palms up to the ceiling. Again, look up. And then easing the hands over to the left-hand side. You can take your gaze up to the ceiling, the last round of breath. Come back to the center line. Again, look up. Take the hands over to the right-hand side. Back to your center line. And then again, coming down and into forward fold. Another in-breath, offer your spine forward. And then from here, we're going to step the right foot back, big step back through the right leg. Now straighten it out, really strengthen that right leg, ease back into the heel. Start to bring your left knee forward, so it's now the knee is above the left ankle, and we're dropping the right knee down to the mat. Lovely. Toes can come flat here, or you can keep them tucked over, which helps with the balance. In breath, arms coming out behind you. Now your right arm, only right arm, is going to lift up skywards. Stretch out the left fingertips away from the right fingertips. Anchor your left foot, right foot as firmly as you can down to the floor. Swap the arms over, left arm lifts, right arm stretches out behind you. Level your pelvis, so right hip will draw forwards, left hip will draw back. Keep the lift up through the body. Anchor the feet. Both arms up. Reach up to the sky, the next round of breath. And the hands are coming back down. Well done. So stepping back into down dog. Bending knees. From here you can take a vinyasa if you like. So either coming down to all fours or plank. Lowering down. Into cobra. Back into down dog. We'll all find our way up to the top of the mat. Off your spine, breathe in, out breath, folding. Coming up to rise, lift up, and out breath, hands back to the heart. So arriving now in standing, both feet are together, and do use a wall here if you would like one, just so you've got some sort of support with the hands. Breathing in, we're going to lift up the right knee. Now we're going to come into tree here, catching hold though of the right foot with your left ankle to guide it in, so opposite. Makes the balance a little bit different. Now that may be where you are happy to stay. Right arm is going to lift up. Left hand, like a circle, is mirroring the right arm as you take the right arm over, the left arm out to the side. Breath also there. Anchor that left foot. Well done. Left arm will reach up to join your right arm. So your tree will be swaying. It might be bending in all sorts of directions. Doesn't matter. The tree manages to keep standing because it has strong roots. So really anchor the standing leg down. That is your focus here, to root yourself. Hands coming down, right foot coming down. Just shrug out the shoulders a couple of times. And then rooting down into your right foot, lifting up your left foot, guiding it in to the right thigh. Don't worry if you wobble at all. Trees are you're allowed to have a bit of wobble in your upper branches. Keep hold of that left foot, left arm lifts up. Then you're creating that circle-like action as you reach over with your left hand, you're reaching out with your right hand. Strong breaths, belly to spine. Let your canopy wobble if it needs to, but keep that right foot grounded. Oh Lordy, help. And then, once you're there, we're going to lift the right arm up. Just move in and out of balance all the time. Don't get stuck on having to keep it stable the whole time. Just keep the balance though, that sense of moving through it. Left foot coming down. Well done. Both feet hips width apart. Take the arms up above you. Breathing out, arriving into forward fold. Couple of breaths down in forward fold. And then, offering your spine forwards, turn up to the top of the mat again if you're not. And this time we'll step back with the left foot. So big giant step back with the left foot. Once you're there, strengthen out the left foot, the left leg. Strong and straight. Right knee is coming into the lunge. And then you're dropping your left knee down to the floor. Toes tucked under or else flat on the mat. Breath also there. Both arms out behind you. Stretch them out. Left arm lifting up. You're pointing away with both set of fingertips here. Level pelvis. Switch sides. Left arm up. And hands coming down. And we're arriving back and into down dog. Now breathe your way down onto the mat, arriving into cobra. And once you're there in cobra, just pausing for a breath or so, and we'll lift up the knees, we'll bend them. Now just pause there so you feel that sense of strength through the legs. Make sure you don't compress lower spine. Another breath, out breath, toes tucking under, and we'll hinge back to the heels, into child. And arrive up onto all fours, and just ease out into your body a few cat and cow here. Remember to work whatever pace you want to here. These are strong practices. They really do help to wake up the legs, to kind of get the energy moving through the legs. So do drop in and out if you need to. Work at your own speed, your own capacity. Keep that awareness though through your feet, through hands if in contact with the floor, or feeling grounded through them as you move in and out. Another round of breath. And we're going to ease up and into down dog. So from here, we're going to bring the right foot through between the hands. You can either lift it up and then swing it through. You can step it up, you can stand up. Else bringing the right knee up towards your core. Look down at the right knee. Straighten out through the spine there. So you're kind of in a plank with right knee bent. Right foot coming between. Now, two options. The softer option, plant your foot down, a strong back foot, but the heel is on the floor. If you want to wake up the legs even further, go a step more. Your back foot is parallel with the long edges of the mat and your heels lifted. Now breathe in, anchor the back foot whatever way you're doing. So push back into the heel if it's lifted, arms out behind you. Breathe in, arms are floating up. Take your hands down to your thigh now. Interlace your fingers and push down on the thigh, both hands. Strengthen your back leg as you do so. So you're now lifting up away from the earth. You can feel the density in the body. A breath or so here. Lovely. Right arm floats out behind you. Left arm lifts up. Keep lifting up away from the base of the body. Next round of breath, switch arms. Next round of breath, left arm floats up. Now keep that strong back leg as you still keep lifting up. The gaze can come up. And then using the core, you're lifting up away from the earth to step the left foot forward into chair. Keep lifting up in your chair. Arms coming out behind you. You're in a ski jump now. Look forward in your ski jump so you don't topple on your nose. Lovely. Coming into something called bear pose. It's strong on the legs. Arms come forward. So arms, spine, and thighs are more or less parallel with the mat. A few breaths there. Arms out behind you. Lift up into chair and pressing down once you're in chair. Hands together, press down into the feet to lift up into standing. Well done. Your legs may be well shaking now, so just wobble them out, wobble everything in the body out. Really let it all go. And then coming back to your center line, hands at the heart. Big in-breath, palms flowing up. Come into forward fold. In-breath, offer your spine forward. Arrive in your down dog. In-breath into plank. Out breath, folding down. In breath, cobra. Back into down dog. And again, we're finding now the left foot through between the hands. So either lifting it up, pointing it out behind you, else step it through, else stand up, bring it through, or else knee coming up to the core, into your plank with the knee lifted. And we bring the foot through. So again, plant the right foot down to the floor if you would like to, or else a strong back leg. Anchor into that ball of the foot, arms out behind you. And we're lifting the arms skywards. Now, once you've got your arms skywards, then we're going to interlace the fingers the opposite way to which you were just doing. planting them down on the front thigh. As you do that, strengthen that back leg. Really do lever it downwards to the floor. Lift up through the spine. Level your pelvis. Arms releasing, left arm out behind you, right arm lifts skywards. Keep the spine lifting. Opposite way. Both arms. Look up, last breath. And arriving back, hands to the floor, stepping back into down dog. Well done. Now this time you're just going to kind of ease out the legs in down dog. And then finding a stance in down dog. A few rounds of breath here. Start to really root down into the heel of the hand. Give you a bit of leverage up through the spine. And then if you bend your knees for a moment, lift up the heels, and then anchor your heels downwards towards the floor. Take your time to come down onto all fours and to arrive back into child, hands sliding either sides of the body around the back of the feet and forward to the floor. Start to lift up into sitting and taking the knees out in front of you, legs. You've got your block or even a cushion would work here. You're going to place the legs over the block around knee height. There's a little bit of bend through the knees, so total point forwards. In breath, lift up your arms. Look up, breathe in. Out breath, starting to float the spine forward. And arriving into a forward fold. Breathe in, allow the spine to lengthen here. And out breath, arriving into forward fold for a few rounds. Note with the bend of the knees how it gives your spine a bit more space to stretch out. Takes a little bit of onus off the hamstrings, the backs of the legs. And takes a forward fold down and along the spine. In breath, coming up into sitting. Take your block to the side now. Feet hips width apart. And you can use your block or your book here to either line up the feet. So you've got your block and your feet are either sides, hips width. That's option one, which is a nice way of activating the legs. Else you can bring your block in between your thighs, so you're holding it there. Arms by the sides of the body. And breathing in, we're going to lift up the pelvis into a bridge. Keep squeezing the block if you're holding it, or pressing both feet to either sides of it if it's down on the floor. Out breath, slowly lowering your pelvis back down. Do one more round. This time though, breathing in, the arms will float over the head as you lift the pelvis. Keep pressing into the block with the thighs or the feet. And out breath, lowering both back down. So block out to the side now, taking your arms into a C shape, a kind of goalpost shape above the head. We'll take the knees together. Looking up at the ceiling, take both knees stacked on top of each other, over to the right hand side. And once they arrive towards the right, then turning your gaze to the left. Feet to the center line. Take the knees over to the left, keep the gaze up to the ceiling, and then gazing towards the right. Knees up. Now, a few moments to just interlace fingers over the tops of the shins or put hands on the knees and just rock the knees from side to side. Just massage out your lower spine. And when you're ready, feet down, legs stretching out and turn. Bit of space between the feet, let them turn out to either sides. Arms by the sides of the body, palms facing up. Line the head with the rest of the spine. And letting your awareness drop down through the body to the earth beneath you. And as you breathe out, follow this pull of gravity to the earth's surface, allowing contact to deepen. Awareness of contact to expand. Noting how our energy arises from earth. How we draw energy up from the earth into our bodies. And how we release it back down again. So if or when you may experience any nervous tension, anxiety, restlessness through the mind, bringing awareness to your roots, re-earthing yourself again, reconnecting with the body. The body, a part of the earth, holding you, sustaining, nourishing, nurturing your life. moment more of reflection. What does the earth mean to you right now? And how could you nourish that energy within the body, within the mind? Let it infuse the tone of life. Bringing some focus back to the body, and a little movement of feet, hands and head from side to side. And if you stretch your right arm out over the head to the ground behind you, and then we bend right knees and we roll over to the right hand side of the body, using it like a pillow. And then find your way back up and into sitting again. Take time to arrive back into sitting. And hands resting on the lap. Let your eyes shut. Connecting to your breath. Connecting to the flow of your energy. The flow of your life. And hands coming up to heart. And there, bowing the head down. And closing practice. Thank you.